This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with BetVictor. Delighted to be joined by former two-weight world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi. We're here at the Dillian Whyte, Whyte-Chisora to weigh in. How are you, Paulie?
Good. Just another work day in the books. Just kept that weigh-in, a little bit of a hectic weigh-in, but we're good.
Talk to me about that weigh-in. It seemed to be kind of on the edge, and then it spiraled a little bit once the two men got backstage.
Yeah. I think there was always a bit on the edge, the whole promotion. I think both of these guys have some bad blood. The first fight was a competitive, good fight. It's the subtle trash talking. Both have been trying to keep their calm and be more mature this time around. But of course, you can't help but eventually spill over the bad blood when it's genuinely there. And I think with these guys is genuinely there. Also, I don't mind it. I think when two guys are going to fight, people don't want to see everything being so nice. So I think this hypes up the fight better anyway. So I look forward to tomorrow night.
Now, you mentioned their first fight. I just want to get your view on something, because you're somebody who had a contentious first fight with Juan Diaz and then boxed him again immediately after. So from that perspective, how is it preparing for a fighter directly after? I mean, obviously there's been a bit of a break between this fight, but when you've had a perceived injustice against you and you're fighting somebody for the second time, does that affect your preparation? Do you think about preparations differently?
No, from my personal experience, I just did the same thing. I just knew that what I did the first time worked, and I just went back and did the same thing. I think with these guys, it was very competitive. The fight could have went both ways, and I think there's adjustments to be made, especially because it's been about 3 years since they last fought. So you're not going to get the same guy 3 years later.
Lots been made of how Whyte-Chisora looked on the scales. What did you make of him? I think that's the best shape that we've seen him in, certainly aesthetically.
Yeah, I think for sure he's ready to go, and I think both guys are ready to go. I think Whyte looked good as well, so it is only beneficial for the fans to get a really good fight. I really am predicting that this fight will be another fast-paced fight, and another fight where they'll go at it and really treat the fans to some good action.
Now, you're somebody who is kind of revered for your ability to break down fights from a technical point of view. What would you expect from either guy? What's the key to victory for either guy? First of all, for Dillian Whyte.
I think Dillian has to be a bit more technical, but obviously he can get sucked into a brawl just the same. Chisora, I think, is better off trying to make it a fast-paced fight, and I think the way he looks and how in shape he is kind of leads you to believe that he wants to make it a fast-paced fight and he's ready for that kind of pace. And even the way he's been talking, So I think when it comes to skill set, probably Dillian has a bit more skills, but I think Chisora has the ability to lure him into another war, and that's why I really think this is going to be a good fight, because I think they will eventually break into another war, and it might right away, depending on how fast Chisora starts.
I think the consensus is that Dillian Whyte has improved a lot since the first fight. Is that something you'd agree with?
Yeah, I do think so, but this has a sort of a derby feel to it. It is a derby. I think they're both from London anyway, but it has a derby feel to it in that no matter where these guys are ranked or wherever they are in the standings, I think when they get in the ring with each other, I think it's always a bit of a difficult task for both.
A lot of people are making a lot about David Haye's addition to Team Chisora, him working alongside Don Charles. They've got the kind of history of acrimony between them. In your experience, have you ever been in a situation where there's been too many cooks, so to speak? Do you think that could be a factor for Whyte-Chisora?
No, I mean it might be. I've never had that experience. I always thought that everybody around my team was, what I felt like I needed at the time. So. No, I never felt like there was a situation where it was too many cooks, but it could be, sometimes that's the case. But I think it's on a personal level and individual level. You judge each situation individually, and I think only Chisora knows best for himself.
Fellow New Yorker Jerome Miller flew in the other day. Had the pleasure of sitting down with him. Really engaging character. A lot of rumours about him fighting Anthony Joshua in 2019. Just your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really good fight. I think Jarrell's been kind of paving his way and making his name. I've known Jarrell since before he turned pro, and he's always been an improving fighter, a good fighter. And I think he's earned the shot now. He's earned the right to be in the conversation for these big fights. And if he gets it, I think it would be a really good fight. Probably in New York, where Jarrell is from New York and he's a New York native. And he has that New York swagger, and of course AJ having the swagger all his own of the heavyweight champion of the world. And I think it would be a fitting first fight in the U.S. for AJ, and I think it would be a great opportunity for Jarrell to be able to become heavyweight champion in his hometown.
What do you see as Joshua's next move? Obviously, a lot of people are considering this to be kind of a semi-final, as it were, to meet Anthony Joshua at April. Do you think after the back of Wilder Fury, there's an extra pressure on Joshua to face one of those two guys?
Might be, it's all politics, so we'll see. If AJ comes to America, maybe the Jarrell Miller fight happens. If he doesn't, if he stays here, maybe the Dillian Whyte fight happens. And of course, Wilder's always in the conversation.
What fight would you like to see next involving Anthony Joshua?
Wilder or Fury.
you think that's realistic?
It's possible. I don't know. I'm not in the negotiations.
Just moving away from that, we saw Canelo Alvarez in New York a couple of weeks ago against Whyte-Chisora. Just your thoughts on that fight?
Rocky tried. I don't think he was of that level. I think too many world titles. I think I don't mind 4 sanctioning bodies, but more than one champion in each organization kind of starts to water things down. The WBA has a great reputation. Hopefully they go back to the one champion for their organization.
What would you like to see in the future for Canelo? Stay at 168 or drop down to 160? It kind of seems like without Gennady Golovkin, there's an opportunity for somebody to kind of state their claim at 160, very talent-rich division.
Yeah, either or, as long as he's fighting top guys, and people can get good fights out of it. No more Rocky-Fielding type opponents.
And just finally, your prediction, as it were, if you're going to be brazen enough to give me a prediction for the fight tomorrow night, Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora, what are you thinking?
Well, Whyte on points again, and in a good fight.
Okay, well, Paulie Malignaggi, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you.